Why do powerful nations choose war, even when the risks are enormous and the benefits uncertain? History tells us that wars are rarely triggered by a single cause. They emerge from a combination of psychology, politics, and ideology. In analyzing recent tensions surrounding Iran and the United States, three major explanations often surface. These explanations range from historical patterns of imperial behavior to domestic political calculations, and finally to deeper ideological worldviews that shape long-term strategy. Let's examine each of these possibilities carefully. Hubris, the psychology of power. The first explanation is hubris. Excessive confidence born from prior success. Throughout history, powerful leaders have often overestimated their strength after quick victories. When an operation succeeds rapidly, it can create an adrenaline-fueled sense of invincibility. That psychological momentum can lead to riskier decisions. We've seen this pattern before. When Adolf Hitler invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, it followed a series of rapid military victories across Europe. France had fallen quickly. Western Europe had been subdued. This created a belief inside Nazi leadership that their military machine was unstoppable. But Operation Barbarossa became one of the greatest military disasters in history, ultimately contributing to the destruction of the German army. Empires often miscalculate when early successes distort strategic judgment. The Roman Empire, Napoleonic France, Imperial Japan. History is filled with examples where confidence turned into overreach. From this perspective, any aggressive escalation could be interpreted as a classic case of imperial overconfidence, a belief that military superiority guarantees political success. Domestic political calculus. The second explanation centers on internal political dynamics. Even if a war may not clearly benefit a country strategically, leaders sometimes calculate that it could benefit them politically. Political science refers to this as the rally around the flag effect. During times of conflict, public opinion often consolidates around leadership. Approval ratings can rise, opposition voices may weaken. Media focus shifts toward national unity. Historically, wartime powers have also expanded executive authority. Congress can grant emergency powers. Elections can become politically influenced by national security narratives. Speculation sometimes arises that prolonged conflict can reshape electoral landscapes, particularly in highly polarized political environments. It is important, however, to approach such claims cautiously. The US constitutional framework places strict limitations on presidential terms, and altering that structure would require significant legal and political transformation. Still, political incentives during wartime are real. Leaders across history, from democracies to authoritarian systems, have understood the domestic advantages that external conflict can provide. Ideological and eschatological narratives. The third explanation moves into ideological territory. Some commentators argue that global politics is influenced by long-term ideological or even religious narratives. In this view, geopolitical decisions are not purely strategic, but tied to larger historical or prophetic visions about the Middle East and the future world order. However, such claims often rely on broad generalizations or conspiracy-based frameworks. Assertions about secret societies or hidden global controllers lack verified evidence and are widely debated among scholars. While it is true that ideological beliefs can influence foreign policy, as seen throughout history, serious analysis requires distinguishing between documented policy strategies and speculative narratives. Conclusion. So why do nations escalate toward war? Is it hubris, the dangerous overconfidence of power? Is it domestic political calculation? Or is it driven by deeper ideological worldviews? In reality, major geopolitical decisions are rarely driven by a single factor. They emerge from a complex mix of psychology, strategy, politics, and perception. Understanding these dynamics doesn't require accepting every theory, but it does require careful analysis, historical awareness, and critical thinking. Because when powerful nations make decisions, the consequences reshape the world.